I'm recipe testing today, a new recipe that's going into the Eat Together meal plans for you guys. I thought I'd take you along behind the scenes. This is One Unified Home, where you can come for ideas and tips on how to strengthen your family and have more fun together. So if you're new, click that subscribe button. Okay, so it's Sunday afternoon. I wanted to make a cozy, yummy, yet still on the lighter side soup. So we are gonna be making my lemon chicken and rice soup. I've got my computer over here. I've got my beautiful new Dutch oven heating up right there. And I want that on low. So first thing we need to do is we need to chop up the carrots, the celery, and cauliflower. I'm trying something different with the cauliflower this time, and I'm gonna show you. All right, so first off, we're gonna put some oil into the Dutch oven, and I always start with about a tablespoon of oil. Then we're gonna get our veggies going. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna start, when you're recipe testing, you always wanna start with less because you can always add in more. You just can't take it out, you know what I mean? I don't know. Let's start with like a cup of celery and see where we go from there. Gotta go wash this. When I'm including veggies in a recipe, I like to keep them pretty good sized. That way anyone who is not a fan of veggies can easily pick them out. Now for some carrots. Edit this to say 2 cups celery and 2 cups carrot. Okay, now because these are heartier vegetables than like I'm gonna add in cauliflower, and I just decided last minute that we're gonna add in zucchini. We're going crazy here. Okay, so you always season your vegetables with just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper when you're sauteing them. I don't know. Like the theory behind it, I think, is it helps some of their natural flavors to come out, so we're gonna do that. So we've got these starting to saute. While those are going, I did a shortcut. I'm gonna add in cauliflower, and I buy it pre-done like this because I just really do not like cutting up a head of cauliflower. I feel like it makes a ginormous mess. So I'm gonna pour these out, but look at how big they are. They come like pretty big. I want them probably like inch size, but this is almost my whole mouth. I don't want to take a big mouth of cauliflower, so we're gonna puree some of this to hide some veggies secretly so the kids actually eat it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna chop some of this cauliflower. See these pieces? Perfect. That's a little bit bigger. So we're recipe testing, and then I'm also gonna be photographing. So a little tip, if you're ever photographing your food, always save some of the ingredients, like raw, fresh veggies, so you could use them as props in your photography. So now you know, if you see this recipe inside of the Eat Together app, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was a prop. Okay, we're gonna add the cauliflower in. Then to get just a little bit more veggies in here, why don't we add a cup of zucchini? I love using zucchini because it's relatively like inexpensive for most of the year. Now I know what you're thinking, you're like, my kids would not eat this. I'm gonna show you how to cook one meal with a ton of veggies in a way that the veggie lovers will eat it and the non-veggie lovers will still eat it too. Okay, look at these veggies now. They're looking good. So now we're gonna add all the seasonings in right now while these are still cooking, then we'll add the broth in. The smells in here are so good. And that's good. See that down there? I'm gonna start by adding 8 cups of chicken broth. Now I always use bone broth instead of chicken broth. My recipes say chicken broth because that's a lot more affordable. Bone broth is really expensive, but because some of my kids just don't like eating a ton of meat, it's a really easy way to get more protein in their stomach. Okay, so we're gonna start with 8 cups and see how much that gives us in our pot. Because we're also gonna add in a ton of chicken and then also a little bit of rice. Okay, so this is gonna cook for about 10 minutes. While that cooks, I'm gonna come over here and update my recipe. Okay, what we wanna do now is we're gonna take 3 cups of the broth with some big good clumps of the veggies and put it into a blender. And we're gonna puree it, and that's gonna make the broth have even more flavor. This is also going to hide more veggies into the broth. So they're gonna be getting veggies and they're not gonna even know it. Now we're adding that puree back into the broth. Stir it around. We're gonna add in 1/2 cup of rice. I've got rotisserie chicken. I have rotisserie chicken, which is silly expensive, but because I'm recipe testing, a lot of times I'll go for convenience factor. But if I wasn't doing that, I would probably just throw some, I like to bulk batch pre-cooked meats. So I'll throw a couple pounds of chicken into the slow cooker, let that cook, pull out what I need, freeze the rest for another recipe down the road. So we're gonna do 8 cups of this chicken and it needs to be chopped.
No, look, honey, did you want some soup?
Okay, we need to zest and juice a lemon. Okay, we've got all our flavors in here. Look how yummy it's looking. I might add some more carrots in. I don't know, actually I feel like the ratio is really good. We'll see what it's like once the rice cooks up. So I've got it over medium heat. We're gonna let it cook and I'll see how long it takes to cook until the rice is just tender, and then we'll give it its final taste test and adjust what we need to. Okay, so while that finishes cooking, I'm gonna set up my photography spot. And what's nice about this, since it's for the app, is we just wanna like keep those photos simple, but really like showcase the ingredients and the textures and the colors. So that's kind of what we're going for here. So I've got a bowl. Behind the scenes trick is you don't need a giant bowl because we're just gonna photograph it, and the end shot is gonna be like up close like this. So now that I say that, maybe I'm gonna move that cut lemon over that way. I always love to get green in there. So I'm getting some parsley ready. So I'm gonna get a few long stems of parsley, but then also trim up a few like little guys for garnish. And I'm hoping I have some Parmesan because that sounds delicious too. We can add that into our optional toppings. I don't know. I'll usually like play with it a little. Okay, I set the timer for 10 minutes. It's boiling. I'm gonna just bring it down to a simmer. Let's see if that rice, so I'm gonna have to, the rice is gonna settle on the bottom. Look it, yummo! Right, we're gonna make sure that everything's cooked how we like it. Make sure the flavors are there. If we need any more salt, more pepper. I like the veggie ratio to the chicken and rice ratio. I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes on medium heat. I want those carrots to cook just a little more, and that rice could use 2 more minutes, but. And then I'm gonna make a note that if you want your veggies softer, cook it for probably 5 more minutes. So I'm gonna go edit that right now. While that finishes cooking, I found some Parmesan, so I'm gonna add some to the board around the photo. It is 5:03, so that means I've got a hangry family. Actually, they're doing really well. They're playing on the skateboard right now. But dinner's ready, it's photographed, and I've got the recipe all written up. So that means this recipe will be coming to the Eat Together Meal Plans app, available on Android and in the iPhone or Apple store for iPhone. And it's gonna be in our November meal plan. Who else is excited for all the yummy slow cooker, soup, casserole recipes for the fall and winter? I'm excited. If you guys have any recipe requests, let us know down in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.